welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're going to talk about something that makes me happy and makes me sad. Sad in the sense of some of these chapters we're going to be talking about in The Return of the King. Some of the chapters we're going to be talking about in Return of the King are, well, they're kind of sad. There's some sad stuff going on, but good stuff as always. I'm joined today with my panel all the way from somewhere in beneath me. It is Princess Rennie.
Hey Teresa, hey Steve, always happy to be here and talk about the things that we love, especially Tolkien. So yeah, I agree. Return of the King, it's a bittersweet book, right? Because good guys win, bad guys lose, but then again it has to come to an end. So that's the sad part. So
yeah. Well, and some sad things happen. But we will be getting into that as we get into the actual chapters. And then all the way from the future to the one and the only Steve Kenobi.
Hi.
Hi, how's the future? How are things going over there?
The world is exploding. You're about to die in 6 hours.
Ah. Well, then you heard it here first. Well, then we may as well enjoy what we have left.
Oh my gosh.
Let's say hi to our chat. We have Startup Poopus Cooper. Thank you. Always good to see you. We have Shane Nolan, Shane Nolan, all the way from the Emerald Isle. We have Jacob Ironside. Thank you. And where'd he go? We had some other people. OBG70 saying hello, people. Well, I think that is very speciest of you. We have actually a polar bear in the chat, so you need to show a little bit more sensitivity toward the animals in our chat. We have Kelvington. And I think that is it so far, or at least those that are making themselves known. I see you here. I see all. Thank you for everyone that is popping in. While you're here, could you please like, share, and subscribe? And
if Snortopoopus swings both ways, he would be a bipolar bear.
Oh dear. Oh, hey Tommy.
Hi Tommy.
I'm sorry.
Also, fuck Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Kelvington, I love you, but you got to change that avatar, man. He does it just to torture me. I swear he does.
Hey, Tommy. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. The mod with the most, the one, the only, the Tommy. Oh, yeah. He's from the Guinea Pig Collective. So, yeah. So, OBG70, yes, you're canceled. I'm canceling you. You need to pay homage to the animals that come into Miss Martin Muses. We haven't had any cats yet, but I'm sure we will. We usually have a few cats that pop up. Tommy says, I have the original animated Return of the Kings on the way. Oh, okay. What better reason would there be? Baby Yoda is there to sell toys. Of course. Sell toys, pencils, stickers. Snortopoopus says, Snuffles, I'm a bipolar bear because I've been to the southern hemisphere. Aha! So there's Steve.
Oh,
what do you say to that?
Yeah, he really owned me.
Oh, sounds hot.
Yeah, he's gonna go cry tonight. Yeah, he got owned. Tommy is getting picked up. Is saying hello. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. OBG70 is paying homage to all of our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. Hello, all the animals. Hope you get belly rubs today. Thank you. My cats say thank you.
I'm hungry. I want to eat meat. I'm gonna have pork chops later.
Okay, well, we don't have any pigs in the chat, so it's all good. Oh, it is Epic Comics saying hello to Rennie. Yes, hello. Yeah, greetings. Yeah, everyone's saying hi to each. Gee whiz, y'all are crazy. But that's why I love y'all. Yeah. Lots of Lord of the Rings content today, and it is going to be Lord of the Rings content. And this is a book discussion, and we will be discussing the book, and more specifically, chapters 8, 9, and 10 of The Return of the King. Now, we missed you last week, Steek, because there was a lot of horn blowing on the part of the writers of Rohan.
Someone
Lots
was
of innuendo.
someone was blowing, and you two missed me. Thank you.
And they talked about Theoden going erect.
Freudian
Was
slip.
lost. Sorry, Teresa, don't hate me.
No,
Well,
okay.
it's good that I pop into your minds when you think about blowing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no kink shame, no kink shame. That's right. Yeah. Well, what was it? Theoden got you're right. He got erect on his horse, and then he blew, and he grabs. That was it. He grabbed somebody's horn and blew it. That's it. He took one of the.
That's right.
He took it for what?
Was hung like a horse.
We were like, oh no, Stig would have a field day with this.
Yeah.
And then
Shadow.
one by one, the blowing.
Yeah, Shadow fucks the Lord of all horses.
Okay, yeah. So for anyone that's afraid of what they can and can't say on my channel, Steve just gave an example of why I've given up. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, there's rules?
There were about 2 years ago, and then you showed up.
I never knew about the rules.
Well, yes, because remember you said a bad
No,
word.
gosh.
You said and I was like, what?
What stream were we on that one time? Remember where we had you cracking up, Teresa, and you said makes me laugh, makes me cry, and Stig's like makes you cuss? Freaking died.
Yeah, I've given up. I understand, Steve. I think it was somewhere around 2019 where I tried to behave myself. Yeah, and
Oh.
Snortapoopa says the Rohirrim are a randy bunch. Yes, they are. Yeah, rules
Yeah,
are.
I mean they have whore right there in the name.
Oh.
They're the only ones in the Middle Earth that could give the Rohirrim job.
Oh.
Which is where Wormtongue got his name.
Oh.
Or rather earned it.
So Theoden was squeaky clean, you say?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, Tommy. Sadly, yes. Well, yeah. I can. It was wondrous. Well, yeah. I've got one vice left. One vice, for feck's sake, and that's one of them. All right. Give me that
Really?
one.
Well, you can have that one.
Rims. Vin Rattlehead in says, "Welcome to book discussion where innuendos are made up and rules don't matter." Yes, yeah, and of course I do. I have one rule in general, and that is, you come in and start spouting some real bigotry and stuff. Yeah, you're out. Yeah, and I have done that before.
You spouted real bigotry?
No.
Oh dear.
No,
That's
someone in my
that's what you said.
I have banned. I will ban no second chances. You all know what you can and can't say when it comes to because someone said something anti-Semitic, and I'm like, oh no, nope, banned. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know what you're doing if you do that, and often people do that because they want to get you in trouble, because there are very few real Yahtzees out there. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no tolerance for that. Though y'all are idiots if you're trying to get me demonetized. I'm not even monetized yet. Jacob, there are a lot of towers in the Lord. Oh, lots of towers. Yeah, if this is your first time coming into Miss Smart Muses, I do sincerely apologize. If we actually have mature conversations
about
Vic
ints and wood.
Yeah, Rick Rattlehead in says Eowyn has a transformation from Aragorn simp to Witch King beating Chad. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah,
Pretty
sort of,
legit.
yeah, pretty legit. Yes, Snortapoopa's Cooper says bashing Swedes is Stieg approved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I will give a little slap on the wrist for Swede bashing because come on, they're not
No.
all bad.
No, it's a
Wait,
shit
what?
country. They're not human.
Yeah, we all need to be monetized. Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly but surely. I'm nearly at 600. I mean, I've had that's
Really?
that's
I've been at 600 for a while, and I
I
haven't done
know.
shit.
I know you haven't.
Well, you post the little funny videos from time to
Yeah, but
time.
I don't own them. I just
Yeah.
download them from YouTube and put them on my channel.
Yeah, he's a very
Takes
lazy,
2 minutes.
very
True.
lazy YouTuber. Very lazy YouTuber.
We need another top 5.
No,
Yeah.
We need more Rudy in this world.
Okay, all right. We're about ready to get going with our discussion. Oh, I knew that I wanted to make a segue. Here's a segue. Yeah, there will actually be a real mature discussion next week before this stream. It's going to be early in the morning. The crew that used to hang around on Father Miller's channel are going to be here at 8 o'clock Central, talking Catholic explaining the Lord of the Rings. So
they're moving on to greener pastures.
well, Father Miller's on sabbatical. He's having the time of his life.
I saw him the other day. Renee's stream.
What?
Yeah, me and I. Sorry, she and I even were doing the 80s stream, and he was in the chat.
Oh, you mean
was
Lady
saying-
Gravemaster?
I was gonna say, wait.
Oh, yeah,
Are you
sorry,
sure it was
great.
me?
Yeah, I was
No,
like, Rennie
I don't
doesn't do
remember
that.
that.
Gravemaster.
Get your
I keep-
crap together.
Yeah, I keep mixing up, Gravy and Rennie, because they're all the same to me.
Yeah, they are exactly the same. To very quickly answer your question, Vic Rattlehead, in any Wheel of Time book discussions on the horizon? No. We did one. You can go back and find it. It should be on my chat with Lady Gravemaster, Stieg, and myself. But I personally have not read the books of the Wheel of Time. And that's why I had Stieg and Lady Gravemaster on to kind of explain some things to me about it, but no more. Yeah, everyone's like, Rennie has a stream. Yeah. Tommy says, Rennie transformed in Gravemaster. What? Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
just
never see us in the same place anymore, do you? No, just kidding.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Snorta Poopa says, bless the good father. He popped in briefly on Odin's stream last Saturday night. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, he's living my dream light right now. Everyone's leaving him alone. It's great. Timon Flip. Oh, hey there. Okay. Keck 44 says, Father. Oh, there we are. Father Miller made a brief appearance in a Nerdrotic chat. Yes. And promote Rennie's channel. Yes, we should promote Rennie's channel. But I think that we were all kind of missing our little Saturday streams we used to have at Father Miller's. So I believe Gravemaster might make it, and maybe she'll make the book stream afterwards. So it's going to be a morning of Lord of the Rings. And Catholic Explaining is a series I did about a year ago. Just explaining different beliefs that we... Oh, for fuck's sake, Benedict! Oh, I am so sorry.
Benedict is the name of her dad, by the way.
No.
I was like, dang.
I am so sorry, and I'm... Benedict is the name of my cat, and I'm never naming a cat after a saint ever again. Okay, let me get rid of the cat.
Yeah, that's. I'm so turned on.
Oh my god, I can't.
And I was right in the middle of talking about...
See what I have to deal with on D&D every Sunday?
Oh no. Pope Benedict. No, I should have named him after Pope Benedict. I had someone say, Pope, you should have called him Pope Benedict the 17th. I'm like, damn it. No, he's actually named after the 5th century monk. Yeah.
So you basically cussed out a monk.
Not technically, because he's a cat. Okay.
You probably need to do like 50 Hail Marys after the stream. Because of that.
Only if I go to confession, and I've never had a priest not completely understand what I've said, but it was my cat. And a pope. No, Benedict of Nursia was not a pope. He was an abbot. Rare glasses. Lady G wears glasses. Rennie does not. Okay. I'm not sure about that.
I didn't
Not
even know she wore glasses.
Actually, I do wear glasses when I'm not wearing my contacts. Just
Oh,
to
so there you
clarify.
go. Yeah, and I don't know any. I have not seen Lady Gravemaster. I thought that her whole appearance was a big L and a G. Not the way you like your eggs. Well, that it can be that too. Do you guys play D&D on StreamYards? That is how we play it, but we do it privately. Yeah, we do not stream it. Okay, I was in the middle of saying something when the cat derailed everything. The cat derailed everything, but let me get back to. Oh yeah, I was going to say. So next Saturday it will be a morning of Lord of the Rings because I'd had a Catholic explaining thing last year on different doctrines, and then I said, hey, we all are big Lord of the Rings fans, and our thing was faith and fantasy, and I said, let's do a Catholic explaining Lord of the Rings. So that is going to be the stream where we all behave ourselves, because we will be having a priest, not Father Miller, but Father Sinatra, who is related, by the way. He's like he's like a fourth cousin of the Sinatra, and he's from New York, so he will be there. So we will have a priest in the house, so we will be behaving ourselves. Then afterwards, we'll be having our normal stream here at 11 Central, where we will not be behaving. Well, maybe. As this Father Sinatra is not invited to that one.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it, Steve.
Is Saint Benedict where the term benediction comes from?
No. Benediction comes from the Latin word for blessing or blessed. So Benedict was like named after like blessing, but it makes more sense in like Italian or Latin.
So I was close though.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, Benedicta too. If you know the Hail Mary in Latin, and benediction, that's the big blessing at the end of Mass.
Not
at the end of Mass, outside of Mass.
I've only said that once and I caught fire, so I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, I will agree. My cat is. Oh, you mean of Nursia? Yeah, saints weren't fun to get along with. Yeah, they were no fun. They didn't. Most didn't have a sense of humor. Yes, Father Sinatra does behave himself. You could refute that. I could, but I'm not. You mean about the Catholic? It's not even worth talking about. But we will be talking about what Tolkien himself has said about it. Well, because while this every now and then we might bring up some of that, it's not for that. Okay, and enough preamble. It makes note to mind my manners in front of Father Sinatra. All right. Just some of the stuff about hired help on their projects. Yeah. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Do your vetting before you, and it's not too hard. It usually takes about 5 minutes to do some good vetting on that. But that is another topic, because today we're talking about the Return of the King and what happened last time. We had the Battle of Pelennor Fields, which is my favorite chapter of the entire series. I love it. An amazing battle. Badass. Aragorn shows up with the banner of the king, and it has like all these elven jewels and all sorts of stuff, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's the king. And they Eowyn kills the Witch King, all sorts of stuff. It is very, 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 very exciting. So this is the aftermath, and it starts off with something that almost makes me cry. It's Pippin. He's running around going like, Mary, where are you? And he runs across poor little Mary lying half dead, and they're saying that he's like, no one found me, but on the other hand, that's also what saved my life. No one knew I was there to be killed. But this is, I think, one of the first times we see just how daggone serious they can be. Usually they're little goofballs, and Pippin is like, well, come with me as quick as you can. And he's like, lean on me, merry lad. Come now, foot by foot.
Come with me if you want to live.
Exactly. Yes, and he said that in an Austrian accent. Lean on me. Come, it's not far, foot by foot. Mary goes, are you going to bury me? No, indeed, said Pippin, trying to sound cheerful, though his heart was wrung with fear and pity. No, we are going to the houses of healing. I'm like, oh, little friends.
Yeah.
So, and I think they did a good job of that in the movie too. It was very moving. It just, I mean, these people, they nearly lost their loved ones, and in many cases they did. I'm trying to get this up on my stupid banner. But yeah, I found that to be a very, very moving part of this chapter. And oh my gosh, toss a coin to your witch king, really? Really?
Well, you can't because he's dead. So
Yeah. No coins for you. No, who can for Vic says Rattlehead in says who can forget Pippin's 6 shades when he comes to retrieve Mary?
no.
All right. Sometimes it's good to be overlooked. Yes, precisely. And his exact quote. Well done, Sword Poop. It's not always a misfortune being overlooked. And he's like, I was overlooked just now, but I can't speak of it. Help me, Pippin. It's all going dark again. And it's like, oh, because, he has all that stuff from the Witch King and the despair that they all have. And so off they go to the houses of healing. And one of the best things ever is when it says, so at last, Faramir and Eowyn and Mary were laid in beds in the houses of healing. So we're starting to see all of these characters coming together. It's like they were all in different parts, and now you have Mary and Pippin and Eowyn in the houses of healing with Gandalf and with Aragorn and all sorts of other things. And who else? Who's those other dorks? And then the people of Gondor. I'm sorry, they're not dorks. They're great people. Then it says Gandalf stoops over Mary's. He should have been born in honor into the city. He has well repaid my trust. For if Elrond had not yielded to me, neither of you would have set out, and then far more grievous would be the evils of this day. You see, it was all meant to be. It was all meant to be. Oh gosh, Vic says Witch King's flail does black pill damage. Yeah, and Shane Nolan's the hands of the king are the hands of a healer. Well, I'm going to throw this over to Rennie. I'm going to throw this over to Rennie. Just some of your thoughts on these opening scenes, and you can go ahead and skip ahead to what's going to happen later in the House of the Healing if you want to.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how. Yeah, I like what you said about the hands of the king being healing because, I'm sorry, it was Vic that said that. Because this really proves that Aragorn was meant to be king. Yes, it's nice to see everybody back together, but they're not in the best of shape. Poor Eowyn and Mary seem to be in pretty awful shape. If it wasn't for the Houses of the Healing, Faramir and Eowyn may never have met. And I think that's really cute. I love them as a couple, even though she was overly obsessed with Aragorn for a while. But when she finally realizes that she didn't really love him, they just make sense together, Yeah. But I do love how, they really do show you that Aragorn was meant to be king, because if it wasn't for him using King's Foil, Ethlis, or whatever you want to call it, these people may not be in the best of shape, or they may not be, recovering as well.
Isn't that almost like foreshadowing in the first book when he's using the King's Foil?
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to become a king.
But they don't really, I feel like it is, but they don't really focus too much on it. But in the Houses of the Healing, they really just kind of come at you with it. It's like, because who was it? Was it Eowyn that they were like, oh no, you should treat this part of it. He's like, no, this is where the injury is, and let me show you. And and he basically like kind of, I don't know if I want to say he washes them or just kind of smooths like a layer of it over them, but I just thought it was a very interesting chapter because I think in the Fellowship it was just kind of touched on briefly, and then what's his name showed up and brought Frodo to Rivendell. But yeah, I really like that part of this chapter. I like that, yes, it's kind of a reunion and everybody's kind of back together. It's just not in the best, necessarily like the most fun way possible. But I do really enjoy that you get to see Aragorn take a regal role, so to speak. I guess. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And that was not how they recognized him. And unlike in the movie rather, where they said pretty soon, oh look, there's Aragorn, he's going to be our king. Everyone's like, yay, this is the dude's going to be our king. He really did not reveal himself until this moment. Well, first with his banner in that very dramatic moment in the battle,
Yeah.
and then he confirmed it with this. Yeah,
so I really like that because he was kind of like, I don't want to say Jon Snow, but he wasn't very into like, I'm going to be the king and I'm going to rule Gondor and all that. He just kind of denied his heritage, so to speak. Even when he was being raised in Rivendell for a while, he never really accepted who he was born to be until all of these events kind of fell into place, and he realized, you know what, this is who I am. This is who I need to be, and the people need me. And I just thought it was really interesting watching him grow. And I think whenever, yes, he pronounced his banner, and when he made it into the battle in the Corsair ships, and then whenever he does this kingly duty, so to speak, he's really accepting this instead of denying it or saying, this is not what I want.
I want to confirm, was it in the book that he was denying it, or that he just didn't feel like it was his time to reveal it?
See, I don't quite remember. I just feel like he just, like, whenever Gandalf kind of tried to give him a push, he just kind of didn't talk about it. To me, it felt like he was kind of like, I don't know if I really want this. And then when he was being raised in Rivendell, I thought that he kind of denied it to Elrond. I could be wrong. It's been a little while since I've read that part. So, but yeah, just nice to really see him accept it and just take it by the horns and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely his reveal as the true king was badass.
Yeah.
In the books. It was
absolutely.
Yeah, he did. Yes, you're correct, Vic. He did it all at the age of 87.
Yeah, I mean, who else can say that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Except I guess like Abraham or something. I don't know. But Shane Nolan says Tolkien had Aragorn raised in ignorance of his heritage, like King Arthur, until he was mature. Oh yes.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's what it was. It's been a while since I've read that.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's what I was saying. Snorterpoopus. I recalled it. Snorterpoopus is saying he was more certain of his heritage in the books. The movies made him weaker and more reluctant. Yeah, and I think that's for dramatic. Sure. Yeah, because I did not recall that from the books. It was just more like
did it that way in the movies to have him have more development, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
That and
I think they used Helm's Deep to kind of mature him into having responsibility over a lot of other people.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there you are. Yeah. And it was almost like he was pulling a bit of a Jesus thing. You know how Jesus kept going, it's not my time, it's not my time. And his mom said, shut up and make the wine. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. There was a little bit of that aspect in Aragorn. He's like, when he got the banner, he's like, it is not this moment for it to be revealed. And he's thinking in the back of his head, it is going to be at a cool, dramatic moment right in the middle of the battle. That's exactly what he meant.
I'm going to make an entrance.
Yes. I don't know, Stig, if you had any thoughts.
No, it's basically kind of like setting the pieces after the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Letting us know who made it, who didn't, what have you. But with everything that was at stake in this story, having only Boromir and Theoden die there wasn't much of a cost, was it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as far as main characters, because pretty much every other rando just didn't seem to matter in the movie.
Yeah, and the only one who actually gets damaged is Merry and Frodo. I mean, Legolas and Gimli doesn't even get a scratch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Eowyn does. I mean, she's,
Yeah, well, she's not a main character though.
understood. Yeah.
She's,
Yep. Let me see. Oh, this is Sorona Poopa says one of the few times I really enjoyed being a GM in a tabletop role playing game was running a game during the Battle of Pelennor Fields, weaving the PCs into the story, giving them good, if peripheral parts. Huh.
yeah. There's a Lord of the Rings role playing game from back in the day. It's called MERPS, I believe it's which is short for Middle Earth role playing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have 4 of those books, and one of them has a dinner table sized Minas Tirith map in it.
Oh, you've shown that
Oh,
before,
yeah.
and I went crazy, drooling over it. Yes.
Yeah, I said you could have it if you want it.
Well, I'll take it. Yeah, of course I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, okay. It's just collecting dust in a drawer here anyway.
Yeah. Darn right, I'll take it eventually. Little technical difficulties with location. Yeah, but one aspect of the story, though, that we do get some conclusion before the great denouement is with what was going down with Eowyn. And I think that there is a really good part where they discuss it. Let me see. I'm finding it here. Here it is. Because, Aragorn went around healing. And there's always a part of me that wonders if the normal doctors or healers in this chapter are like, and what am I? Chopped liver? No one gets it.
What makes you so special?
Yeah, like this dude coming in, like, well, screw you. Go, you suck, gosh darn it. Is this all right? I'm vamp, help me out here. Vamp a little because I'm my book is dying on me. Well, what we're going to talk about is the Eowyn. Like, there's going to be a discussion. Okay, I found it. Never mind. You don't have to vamp.
I was about to read a poem for Stig.
What does vamp mean?
Oh,
kind of entertain the crowd,
Oh,
yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what vamping is. Vamping, it's a term that you use in music, especially during a live performance. You do it in musicals, and you do it maybe in a concert where they're sitting there talking, and so like there's like a measure, and sometimes it's called a vamp, where you just keep playing that over and over and over again. So they're sitting there going, "Hi, I love you too," and the music says just vamp, and then they start to kiss, and then the music moves on.
So with my musical background, it's something I absolutely should have known.
No, Stig, because you should have known this. I'm going to judge you. For the only time only. No, I'm not going to judge you. The people use it also on streams, especially, same idea, because it's a live theme. So if someone says vamp, like when I was saying vamp to Rennie, she was supposed to say a few things about Eowyn or something. Well, I'm like, fuck, where's this in my book? I lost it, and the book fell over, and I need to find the page. Or Steve, you've vamped before when someone's like, say something while I go do this. I've seen.
Yeah, they just never said vamp, so I didn't know what it was.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what it was.
Now you know.
Now you know. The more you know. You see, we learn things here at Miss Smart Muses. We learn things, and if I was still looking for the page, that all would have been a vamp. But we don't need to vamp anymore because I found the page. Okay. So they finally read across, because the book closed and all that. All right. They ran across Eowyn. So they went around healing left and right like it was going out of business. And of course, they had to sit and talk about her while she was like passed out right in front of them.
Of course.
Yeah. And Aragorn goes, Here, everyone, let's all point. He goes, here, There is a grievous hurt and a heavy blow. The arm, will mend if blah, blah, blah. Alas, though, for she was pitted against a foe beyond the strength of her mind or body. It was an evil doom that set her in this path, for she is a fair maiden, fairest lady of a house of queens, and yet I know not how I should speak of her. I'm like, yeah, dude, you've been speaking of her for 2 friggin' paragraphs. When I first looked on her and perceived her unhappiness, it seemed to me that I saw a white flower standing straight and proud, shaped like a lily, and yet knew that it was hard, as if wrought by elf rights of steel. Or was it maybe a frost that had turned its sap to ice? And so it stood, bittersweet, still fair to see, but stricken, soon to fall and die. Her malady begins far back before this day. And
Basically, she had depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have just said that.
I know, but I'm just imagining if A would have just sat up and go, quit talking about me like I'm not here. It's like, let's all stand and point.
She should have said, "I'm not a fucking lily."
Yeah. Translation.
It's weird though. He thinks of her as a delicate flower right after she killed the Witch King.
Yeah. Well, but then he does say, as if wrought by elf rights out of steel. And then Aemir says, I marvel that you should ask me, Lord, for I hold you blameless in this matter, as in all else. Yet I knew not that Eowyn, my sister, was touched by any frost. I'm thinking, yeah, glad you're here to notice things. But that's okay. I guess he was busy.
I'm thinking Tolkien had a lot of experience with soldiers coming home from the war, experiencing nostalgia, because that was a diagnosis back then.
Huh.
Yeah, it's basically a sense of loss because they've lost their innocence and they want things to go back to when they were good. So I'm thinking her condition is something he might have seen in friends and people who came back from the war.
Oh.
And maybe even he added himself.
Huh. Well, there you go. Well, and sometimes some of these writing things like this can almost be a form of therapy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vic confirms he must have known quite a few widows because he lost most of his friends in World War I. Mm-hmm. And hell, World War II. Remember, by this point, by the time he finished and published Lord of the Rings, it also been through World War II. Yeah. But Eowyn had, of course, a special kind of melancholy, too, because Eomer continues that in the days of Wormtongue and the king's bewitchment, care and dread she had, and she tended the king in growing fear. Yeah. So, and then Gandalf is all, think you that Wormtongue had poison only for Theoden's ears? Yeah. So this is, I think, the first time that it's explicit that Wormtongue messed around with her, hopefully only mentally, because in the movie they kind of showed it, but not really in the book until this point.
I'm thinking he's saying that he's glad Wormtongue hadn't taken away her confidence and bravery, which was happening to Theoden. Because if she's already dying and if her confidence and self-esteem is all gone, it's easier for her to croak.
Oh,
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I can see that, but they were also saying she was doomed to wait on an old man who she loved as a father and watch him falling into a mean, dishonored dotage. And her part seemed to her more ignoble than that of the staff he leaned on. Think you that Wormtongue had poison only for Theoden's ears. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Vic in the chat says that Wormtongue in the movie was a male feminist. Changed my mind. He's spot on.
Oh dear.
That's how male feminists behave.
Yeah.
They look like that too.
Well, because they're not really on the side of feminism. They're just doing it to get a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then Aemir is speaking here. And he said, oh, is it Aemir? No. It says, but who knows what she spoke to the darkness alone in the bitter watches of the night when all her life seemed shrinking and the walls of her bower closing in about her, a hutch to trammel some wild thing in.
See, they kind of used that line for Wormtongue in the Two Towers.
Wormtongue said it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, because that's what she did do. Yeah. And so that I think they're also revealing like the depth of despair she had before she got to this point. And yeah, and they're afraid that she may not get well. Again, I think it's lovely that they're saying this right all over. It's like, let's just talk about her right in front of her, but she's unconscious. She doesn't know. And then Aragorn says, I also saw what you saw, Aemir. Few other griefs amid the ill chances of this world have more bitterness and shame for a man's heart than to behold the love of a lady so fair and brave that cannot be returned. Yeah, because they were saying that's also part of the thing, too, is like that when Aragorn didn't love her, and he knew that she had the hots for him, and he pitied her. Sorrow and pity have followed me ever since I left her desperate in Dunhauer and rode the path of the dead. And yet, Aemir, I say to you, see, now we got some truth tea going on about Eowyn's character. I say to you that she loves you more truly than me. For you, she loves and knows. But in me, she loves only a shadow and a thought, a hope of glory and great deeds in lands far from the fields of Rohan. So they're helping us understand that while we thought that she was in love with Aragorn, she really was not in love with him. And he's like, hey, you're her brother. She actually knows you. That's a real love. Me, she just loved a shadow and a thought. She loved the idea of Aragorn.
Yes, exactly.
And Steve, you were going to say?
No, nothing. Nope. She was simping.
I mean, in today's terms, that's pretty legit, you know?
Yeah, she loved a shadow and a twitch thought.
She was subscribing to the Aragorn's OnlyFans. No, just kidding.
Oh, no. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And then Aragorn says, I have maybe the power to heal her body, but to what she will awake, hope or forgetfulness or despair, I do not know. And if to despair, then she will die. Gee whiz, that's
rather harsh.
Pretty morbid, right? Yeah.
But that goes to what you were saying, Steve, is that this depression, if you will, if she's in it, it will determine whether or not she gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, unless other healing comes, which I cannot bring. Alas, for her deeds have set her among the queens of great renown. There's some foreshadowing, and I'll get to that when we get to the chapter about Faramir and their thing, because I think some people have rightly and wrongly interpreted that she's like, oh, well, I can't have Aragorn. Oh, okay, I'll just get a Faramir and then I'll be happy. And it's like, it's a little more than that. It's a little more than that. And then he goes, Eowyn, awake, for your enemy has passed away. So there we go. And then he keeps going, awake, Eowyn, Lady of Rohan. And then he tells Éomer to call for her. And then he finally goes, Eowyn, amid his tears. And then she opened her eyes. So that's also confirming that when Aragorn was calling her name, she didn't awake. But when Éomer called her brother, then she did awake.
Kind of proves Aragorn's point, right?
Precisely. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, and then meanwhile, they just go and heal Faramir, but that's not as big a deal, even though I love him more than life itself. And the rest of them are kind of finding out, oh yeah, the steward, that other dude, he's dead. He set himself on fire.
That's so stupid in the movie. He runs for a mile, burning, and falls off the cliff.
I mean, if you're on fire, you can run for a mile, right? And not just
No.
fall over.
No, you're gonna melt.
Exactly. It's so silly.
Yeah, he became the Human Torch.
He carried the torch of Minas Tirith's resistance.
Oh boy.
Makes you wonder where he landed, though, because the city is right below. He would have gone through a roof of a store or something.
He ruined somebody else's business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do say about my boyfriend Faramir that he must soon learn his father is dead, but the full tale should not be told to him until he is quite healed. It's like, yeah. It's like, hey, man, you doing okay? Your dad tried to set you on fire, man.
But it's okay, he died.
Yeah.
It's okay. He instead, he grabbed his palantir and started laughing like a maniac and set himself on fire.
Yeah. He's really dumb with matches, you know?
Yeah, Kellington is correct that once your lungs get destroyed, you fall over pretty fast. Yeah.
You know what Gandalf should have said when Theoden ran away? He should have said, "You're fired."
Oh boy. Okay, all right.
All that's missing is playing Disco Inferno in the background, you know. No, just kidding.
Oh gosh. Rick Rattlehead says, does anyone remember who marries Prince Imrahil's daughter? Is it Aemir? Yes, it is, I believe. Yes, it is. Yeah, everyone gets married. They all get married to each other. And it works out very conveniently because they also get to have all these great alliances sealed with all the people that they end up marrying. So not only do they all find their one true loves, Aragorn with the elves, Éowyn and Faramir, Gondor and Rohan, and also another one between Gondor
Except
and
Frodo.
Rohan.
Yeah.
Frodo travels across the ocean and dies. Well,
hey, he's a lucky one. He's like, screw you all, you suck. Oh boy, but that's a tale for another time. Okay, I think that, oh gosh, Saturday Night Fire. Burn, baby, burn.
House of Fire by Alice Cooper.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to bring this up here. All right, now I think that we've done the House of the Healing to death. I mean, I think. Oh, wait, not to death.
It doesn't have, it doesn't have that much in it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wrapping up, I guess.
Yeah.
And
a lot of explaining. Wait,
yeah.
Oh, wait. Was that someone in the chat? I was. Hello, Timon Flip. Something that the movies got it wrong about Minas Tirith. Where's the food coming from? No farms around the city. Oh, yeah. Oh, Vic says Frodo spends time with the heavenly babes in the undying lands with Bilbo. Snortopoopa says Denethor was a real flamer.
Yeah.
Yes, food in the civilian population city. Yeah.
Yeah. Denethor was all flair and little substance.
Yeah. No, but I do, to bring it back, I do like this chapter because it reveals Aragorn as the healer, as the king will be a healer, and it also gives us insight into Eowyn and where they're going, kind of wrapping up that part of the story. And they let us know that, hey, they're not all dead. They're not all dead. Okay, so in the last debate, this is the next chart. Okay, one more before I go on to the last debate. Vic says his rhetoric was incendiary. Okay,
nice.
All right, yeah. I'm going to help us out here with a little bit of a summary because there's some.
He raised the temperature of the conversation.
He really got heated sometimes. Just
yeah. I wonder where he got his degree.
Oh no. Okay. What happens in the next chapter? There's some tale telling, etc. So I'm gonna look here at.
If Denethor had been a woman, he'd be named Ashley.
God. Well, he'd only be Ashley after he burned.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely would have been a ginger.
He earned it.
Oh. Okay. Well, in any case, so I'm reading from a summary of the chapter to remind us, because this is not a chapter I read a lot for reasons, and there's some tale telling, as I said. So Legolas decides to tell Merry and Pippin everything that happened in the Pass of the Dead. I said Aragorn led the company and the army of the dead to the great river Anduin. Invading fleets of Sauron's allies prevented thousands of potential defenders from reaching Minas Tirith. At Aragorn's command, the Legion of Dead had swept over the enemy ship, causing the terrified sailors to throw themselves overboard. That's pretty awesome. Aragorn had released the dead from their curse, and then gathering the local men of Laemden set sail for Minas Tirith. So that part that they showed in the movie it actually did happen, but it kind of happened off screen. Can you imagine the how terrifying it must have been that they they threw themselves overboard? Like, damn.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how far they were from shore.
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
Well, but I think if I see an army of the dead, I'm like, you know what? I'm out. You can take the ship. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe they swear. I don't know. Yes, no scrubbing bubbles. No scrubbing bubbles. Yes, so we did have that part, and the non-scrubbing bubbles, the more scary the scouring bubbles. And then he releases them from their curse. And then, yay! They went and they saved the day in Minas Tirith. While the four companions shared their stories, Aragorn held a meeting of the lords in his tent outside the city. Gandalf told the assembled captains that Mordor had not yet unleashed the greater part of its army. Though Minas Tirith had fought back the first assault, the next would be much stronger. In addition, the Ring of Power was now somewhere within the borders of Mordor. Yay! Should Sauron seize it, all hope would be lost. Gandalf suggested an assault on the Black Gate of Mordor, reasoning that it was impossible to defeat Mordor without destroying the ring, and that the eye of Sauron must be diverted from the ring bearer as long as possible. Gandalf predicted that Sauron would think that Aragorn had taken possession of the ring and, rash with pride, had chosen to attack Mordor. Gandalf believed that while attacking Mordor may prove fatal, it was their duty to defend against evil while it remained in their power to do so. And everyone agrees with this plan. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, because I want to say in the movie they make it sound like it's Aragorn. Well, let's distract him from Frodo and go out there ourselves. But it's actually Gandalf that's like, I think this is a good idea. Let's give it a shot. Yep. And it just shows his wisdom because he is a wizard. So really love that.
Yes. Well, and that the downfall ultimately of Sauron would be that he couldn't imagine that it would be a little hobbit just kind of creeping in with his little friend that was actually going to be destroy the ring. That if he sensed the ring within Mordor, he would assume it was somebody trying to use the ring against him, and that he would come with a big army. So it's like, let's play into those hands.
Yeah. It's a good strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, so there. And as we know, well, we all know how it all like ends up eventually. But I really also like the whole idea of them sitting around in this tent and making all of this strategy and stuff. In the movie, they had him like just kind of sitting around, hanging around the throne, and it just seemed to take away that.
I have a question though. If Sauron gets the ring, they keep saying there's no stopping him. Why not?
They because Isildur cut it off.
Yeah, they stopped him with the ring before. And now they have Gandalf the White and other things.
Is it maybe because they think his power has increased since he's come back, or the ring's power has increased in the how many thousands of years since he's added on? Only thing I can think of.
I mean, if he could be defeated before with the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have Aragorn cut his finger off again with the same damn sword.
So I have a weird question for you guys. I don't know if I should save this for Silmarillion chat. Because Sauron was Melkor or Morgoth's like minion, so to speak, right? But in the Lord of the Rings, it feels like he's more powerful than Melkor or Morgoth ever was. At least, I don't know. That's kind of how it feels like he's being conveyed. Maybe that's not how it really is, but that's just kind of how it feels sometimes.
Yeah. I always thought Morgoth was the, I don't know.
Because they make him sound like the equivalent of Satan. And because he's a fallen, like Morgoth's basically a fallen supreme being or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but Sauron, I thought he was a Mire, so which was like a step below. So I'm just curious. I don't know.
Didn't he learn from Morgoth though?
Yeah, because he was his number one.
It's almost like Morgoth was Satan, but Sauron was his son.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Basically an antichrist.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, and appropriate. Yeah, Vic confirms. Yeah, Sauron was a Maya. Gandalf's staff got broken by the Witch King's power level, despite being a Maya himself as well. Yes,
yeah,
and
that's
then
true.
And Snortopupus also points out they are much weaker than the time of the Last Alliance. Remember Imrahil saying their army was 1/10 of what Gondor could muster in ancient times.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, that's fair.
Yep, and the army of Last Alliance was even stronger. Yep. Timon Flippett confirms Morgor Melkor is Satan/Lucifer and Sauron is a demon. And then Shane says Melkor used most of his power created his realm and battles with the Valar. Keck says, yep, the elves had diminished in numbers, and the Numorians were a shadow of their strength at the height of power. Sauron would not have been overcome. There you go. Thank you, chat. Thank you for making us sound, or at least me sound intelligent. Yes, what they said, of course, of course. No, I mean, but those are very good questions, and that's some good analysis there. Because yeah, why not? Why not? Absolutely. Yeah, that, and I think that as we go through some of that stuff in the Silmarillion, it'll be a little bit more clear. I just want to give a bit of a shout out, though, to Aragorn at the end of this chapter. He's minding his own business. He goes, okay, fine, let's do this. All right, let's go. Then he drew Andúril and held it up, glittering in the sun. You shall not be sheathed again until the last battle is fought, he said. Because everyone talks to their sword. Right before a big thing. I love the drama.
It's his Excalibur, so to speak. So, why not?
Yeah. No,
I just talk to my butter knife because I don't have to compensate for anything.
You're like, you will spread the butter evenly today, sir. No, just kidding.
Yep.
Yes. It's sort of poopers. That's why we get paid the big money. Oh yeah, and Kek point. Oh yes. Wait. Kek. No, it was Jacob said. Sorry, but remember, Gandalf's staff got broken by the Witch King in the movie, not in the book. Yes. You are correct. Thank you. I stand corrected. I think I forget if that was me that said that or a commenter, but yes, you are correct. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. It was back from that one chapter. That is true. Yeah. So that's where sometimes the movie put some imagery in our heads that maybe was not necessarily here. But yes, because I remember
it kind of blends sometimes, right?
Yeah, especially since it's been a while since we've read it. But we talked about that, I think, when we were doing the Siege of Gondor, because it was not broken, I remember being very mad when that happened in the movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I did a double check and I was like, I don't remember that. Is that a thing? Maybe it's been too long. So of course I reread everything a little while after seeing Return of the King, but I was just like, I really don't remember that.
Oh, here's a good. Jacob says, Stieg, don't scrape butter over too much bread.
But if I do, I will get thin.
Or you'll end up like Bilbo. Timon Flip says,
I want to end up like Bilbo, just living in a cozy home and reading books and shit. Oh, yeah. Oh. I would be happy with that.
Yeah, but, you don't want to live forever.
Yes, I would. I mean, it takes a while to read all the books, doesn't it?
So would you have some relatives that you avoid like he did with the Sackville Bagginses or whatever? It was so funny, like, when you read the books, because, like, Frodo was really nice to him, but Bilbo did not like them so much. So it just kind of cracks me up. I have some relatives like that. I'm like, oh, crap, they're coming around. Okay, I'm not here.
Okay, Timon says.
No comment on that one.
All right. Timon says, every time I listen to this show, I get the need to see a fantasy film. Then I go to the streaming services and nothing good to watch. Stieg, I think you might. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go watch Solomon Kane somewhere. It's awesome.
I knew it. Yeah. Stieg always has great suggestions for movies. Solomon Kane. I have yet to watch it, but I do trust his judgment on that.
I do still like cheesy stuff like The Dark Crystal as well. And I know it's like I don't know. It's just maybe because I saw it as a wee little kid, but I still love that movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I can just tell you right now, I can recommend it because it has James Purefoy in it, and that man is probably one of the most perfect looking men who ever lived. Yeah. OBG70 says, same Stieg, but I'd like to live forever in good health. Well, yeah. Oh, speaking of which, James Purefoy. See, I told you. That man is hot. Oh, he's already seen it. He's seen it multiple times. Great movie. Well,
you know what I watched I watched a new Scorpion King movie. It's called the Scorpion King, the Book of Souls. That one was actually fun.
Hmm.
It just felt like an 80s fantasy movie through and through. I don't know about the other sequels to that mediocre movie, but this one was good.
Well, there you are. You heard it here first. Snorta Poopa says, I know the feeling. I have some relatives coming into town Monday. I'm hoping a wizard will show up and take me off on an adventure. Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? Oh, here's a suggestion. The Great Silent. It is a European snow western. Oh, okay. Yep. We like our movies here at Miss Martin Muses. We like our movies here. And speaking of not a movie, the book rather, we are now going to go to the last chapter, which we will be discussing today, and which will be bringing an end to this portion of the tale, because then we're going to go with Frodo and Sam and Gollum to the very ends of the earth. I'm not sure about that, Jacob. But Stig raises his butter knife over his head and yells, Elendil.
No,
Yeah.
I grumble and go, crumb.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. All right. I'm going to read through again another summary of this. It says 2 days after decision by the captains of the West to assault Mordor, the armies of the West set out, numbering 7,000. At Imrahil's urging, a small force remained in Minas Tirith to defend the city, though the injured Merry could not go to battle. Oh, that's also a difference from the movie. They had Merry go, which was kind of absurd. Pippin marched as a soldier of Gondor, and the army passed Osgiliath and made camp. The horsemen moved ahead, but they encountered no opposing forces. As the army drew closer to Mordor, Gandalf instructed the heralds to sound the trumpets and declare the coming of the king of Gondor. Well, so much for sneaking. But then again, they weren't trying to sneak. They were like,
Yeah,
hey.
they were like, look at us, we're coming.
I mean, it's better than singing, isn't it?
Or reciting a poem.
Yes. Hey, there's nothing wrong with singing, but yes, they like, hey, the king of Gondor is coming, yay! The army stirring and raising.
Imagine being, the orc in charge of the gate, and he's like, "Excuse me, my lord. There's someone reciting poetry outside the door."
It's terrifying.
They're like, kill him now.
Yeah. And everyone was cheering and everything, but there was no sound from Sauron. It's called a watchful silence. And then on the second day of the march, the army was nearly ambushed by a strong force of orcs, but Aragorn and the captain stopped the ambush. Several Nazgul began to fly overhead, following the progress of the army. That's creepy. As Aragorn's army neared Mordor on the fourth day, the younger troops became paralyzed with fear. In pity, Aragorn permitted them to turn back, but many decided to stay. Well, I guess that was kind of nice of him, but they still decided to stay. So I guess, they're... Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, a little bit of a mention is that in the book, Sauron isn't an eye like in the movies. He's more like a presence. In the movies, he's pretty much represented as a glowing eye atop a tower, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
you're right.
It's more of a presence.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why they chose to do that in the movie was because they needed a visual.
To kind of like give you something to be scared of, so to speak. Like an eye is always watching, I guess.
Yeah, but it's still, if you have like a presence in there that you don't even know what is, it's kind of more eerie, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. What you don't see is worse than what you do, and Snorta Poopas has to chime in with more blowing and coming. Yes. It's a theme. It is a theme. And so they decide to go ahead and they're on the 6th day at this point, and they make camp. They stop the hosts, and they're approaching the Black Gate of Mordor, and it's surrounded by reeking pools of mud and filth. Yeah, so again, that theme, it's smelly and it's filth and it's full of
like just rotten or decayed or cursed things.
It's like going to San Francisco.
I left my heart. Yeah, I'm thinking like toxic waste, almost like
yeah, it's basically the poisonous fumes, that's been mentioned. It's
yes.
The whole place is poisoned.
Yeah,
it's it's commentary on pollution, I'm pretty sure, because Tolkien didn't like industry and felt it messed up the lovely countryside of England. And he was right.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah Poopa says 4 fingers on the black hand. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. No, yeah, he was right. And I think that he saw the physical pollution as well as the spiritual decay.
Oh, side note, if Sauron came back, right? Because he was destroyed, his physical form was destroyed. Yeah. If he came back, would he get his missing finger back?
What would he like grow it back?
I don't know, because his physical form, which was missing a finger, was destroyed anyway. So if he was to come back to physical form, would he have a new finger?
That's a good question.
Gosh, that's like a sound like what's the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Lizards can regrow tails.
Yeah, but he's not regrowing his body anyway. That body was destroyed. So if he comes back into physical form, it would be a new form. So
then he probably would have a finger.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone. You heard it here first. And Jacob says he thought it was a latrine for the orcs.
Well.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure they,
I mean, they had to go somewhere, but still.
Yeah, are there toilets in order to orcs use a bathroom, or is it like San Francisco, like Steve said? Yeah, Smarter Poopa says Morgoth became marred and scarred and was never able to regain his formal majesty. It seemed to be a theme. Mm-hmm. Sheena
says he would come back as something less than he was, basically.
Yeah. And Gollum said he had fingers when he was tortured. He was growing his body back. I'm assuming that he meant body, not Bobby. We have Mr. Brown Alliance. Hello. Yeah, I saw what you said, but yeah, we're not going to talk about that here. Yeah. Everyone else on the planet is. Let's see. Everyone's saying hello. We say hello here. The Necromancer, it says, Vic says, from Dol Guldur in the Hobbit movies really messed with the imagination of Sauron. Yeah, well, there were definitely issues with the Hobbit movies. Yeah, so anyway, so off they go. So they bring a small group with them. This is fierce symbolic. It has Gandalf and Aragorn with Gimli, Legolas, Pippin, Éomer, Imrahil, and Elrond's sons, representatives of each of the races of Middle Earth that were opposed to Sauron. The envoy called for Sauron to emerge and submit to the justice of Gondor. Yes, I think it's significant that Elrond's sons are here. A lot of times that's not always maybe known or whatever, again, because probably in the movie, but that's incredibly significant that the sons of Elrond were fighting with them at this.
Yeah, I love that. They totally kept that out of the movies, and I think it's amazing to show that Elrond did support men and he still wanted to help men. He didn't, wash his hands of them, because when you watch the movies, he's like, men are weak and men are this, and it's like, but he really doesn't hate men. Like,
yeah. Exactly. It's like, hey, quit being a jerk. Mr. Anderson, indeed. Okay. So we had elves, dwarves, hobbits, human representatives from the two big kingdoms, Gondor and Rohan, and then Elrond's sons. And and of course, as far as the different kind of elves, because in elf world, Legolas was a forest elf, Greenleaf, and the Elrons were the other ones from Rivendell. All right. So the envoy called for Sauron to emerge and submit to the justice of Gondor. After a long period of silence, the lieutenant of the Dark Tower emerged with an embassy of black-clad soldiers. He was a living man, tall-helmed and evil, and his horse had a face like a skull. Dun, dun, dun. Which is, creepy. With fire burning in the eye sockets and nostrils. Da, 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 da. The lieutenant mocked Aragorn and his army. When Gandalf admonished him, the lieutenant drew from his cloak Frodo's coat of mithril, Sam's sword, and a gray elven cloak. The lieutenant informed the anxious captains that Sauron would spare the life of the captured hobbit spy if they agreed to certain terms. Gandalf, with a look of defeat, asked for the terms. Yes, he did. Yes, he did, precious. And the lieutenant said that Gondor and its allies must never attack Mordor, that Gondor must become a tributary to Mordor, and that a suitable captain from Mordor must rule in Isengard over Rohan. Gandalf utterly rejected these terms. Yeah, so basically enslavement. Not unlike perhaps something in Tolkien's time, which would have been like what the Soviets did.
Yeah.
With their satellite nations, yeah.
I like how they name him in the chapter something like either a Black Dunedain or Black Numenorian. So he was actually from Numenor, the Mouth of Sauron guy, but he had turned to darkness. And I don't know. I think that was kind of a nice reference. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, it's no. Don't be sorry. That's exactly what's good. Not oversized mouths. Yeah. Yeah. The lieutenant, rebuked by Gandalf, was gripped by terror. He turned and retreated to the Black Gate. As he did, the host of Mordor, much larger than that of Gondor, poured out of the gate. Drums rolled, fires blazed, and the sun turned red. Yeah, I'd have been quite fearful at that point. I would have needed to change my pants, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like a great company of brutal hill trolls charged into Pippin's company. One of the trolls pounced on Baragond, but Pippin stabbed the troll with his sword. So you see, Pippin, he's not just sitting around being like Mr. Useless Hobbit. The troll toppled forward and crushed the startled hobbit. Pippin began to lose consciousness. He bade the world farewell, but just as everything turned dark, he heard a clamor of voices.
You know the Mouth of Sauron?
Yes.
In the movies?
Yeah. Really grotesque looking dude.
he is played by the guy who flies the chopper in the Mad Max movies. He's Australian. And he also plays the leader at Utapau in Revenge of the Sith.
I was going to say.
And plays the wizard in the Sword of Truth TV show that butchered the books. Bruce Spence, that's his name. Excellent actor.
An Australian named Bruce. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah. Steve always bringing the trivia here.
Yeah, so they, even a tiny part like that, they cast a superb actor in.
Oh, yeah, their casting was absolutely superb. Yeah, Jacob Ironside also reminds us that the orcs tortured their mother. Elrond's sons fought there because the orcs tortured their mother and caused her to leave Middle-earth. Yeah, they did something quite terrible to her.
Elrond's sons did a lot of fighting in the north, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
During the events of the book.
Yeah, and then they come join them up at the end. Mm-hmm. So, Pippin was just about giving up the will live. He was about ready to pull a Padme, but not for stupid reasons. He just was like, okay, I'm gonna die. I just got crushed by a troll. He bade the world farewell, but just as everything turned dark, he heard a great clamor of voices shouting, "The eagles are coming!" That is so cool. And in his dazed state, wondered if he was merely recalling Bilbo's story of the Battle of 5 Armies. But no, we don't. We know that is not the case. Yeah. I gotta admit, when those eagles show up, and whenever I hear like the eagles are coming, it's like, oh my gosh, how badass is that?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Just saying.
Yeah. But too bad for Pippin. He didn't realize, no, your arses are about ready to be saved. He's like, and then he kind of goes to sleep. Or his eyes, what does it say? His thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. And then we go to book 6.
He basically passed out when the birds were coming on him.
Oh. He was covered in white.
Damn it, Steve.
Pippin the White. Going, your staff is broken.
Kelvington said,
and they all cheered.
And Kelvington says, were they coming or just breathing heavy?
They were coming and squawking.
Oh, he was wreathed in white. Oh my God. So much for the great moment here I'm talking about, because it was a great cliffhanger. We didn't know, were they all going to die? But I think that we knew as readers, he wasn't just recalling the Battle of 5 Armies, that the eagles really were coming to save their buttocks. Yes, Elrond's sons, Galadriel's grandchildren. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people forget that Galadriel is what's her name, Arwen's grandma. So
yeah, she's grandma. Yeah. She used oil of Olay.
There you go.
Oh no. Snortapoopus says, eagles are carnivores. Stinky poop. Well, thank you. So we have coming and poop. That's just great. Let's just how to ruin a great book. No, but it was a great cliffhanger. And as I was saying, the whole imagery of Sauron, all that stuff coming through the Black Gate and trolls. I mean, come on, that's badass.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You always get these people that are like, well, why didn't they just ride the eagles, to this or that? Well, it's not about that. But if you actually, I think it's in The Hobbit that they talk about it. They're like, we're not, taxis for people that just want to, hitch a ride. That's not what we're about. And they actually find it quite demeaning. But, that's an argument you always hear from people that, never read the books or that just weren't big fans. It's, well, why didn't they just hitch a ride with the eagles? It's like, well, it's not really that simple.
Yeah. Well, and who was it that said something to the effect of, did anyone ask the eagles? Maybe the eagles said, oh, hell no. It's like everyone is just so willing to volunteer the eagles. I think it might have been you, Stieg, or someone that said, like, who are the eagles? A taxi service? I mean, it's like, yeah. Oh, yes. And yes, she had, Shane says, Galadriel had given Aragorn the Elfstone. That is true. It became a German podcast. I'm not sure I understand the reference, but that's okay.
Because of the pooping on people. Yeah.
Oh, got you. Thank you. And Timon says, and Gandalf fancies that grandma, at least in the movies. Yeah, that was just a movie thing. It was Gimli that fancied her. And Snorpoop is saying, sorry, Misa Bad Bear. Yeah. Vic says, Galadriel has seen most of all the conflicts since the Second Age. She stuck around in Middle Earth even after half the continent got submerged. Yep, she's been around. Yeah. And Jacob says, Galadriel, maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah. Or maybe it's L'Oreal shampoo.
That was a good one. And Snortopoopus says, Eagle Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
That's cute.
Put your head on my shoulder. Kelvington says, ready new. Yes. Tommy, Eagle taxi service. If it needs to be flown and shout it on, we got you.
Yeah. Wake up to the Hotel California.
You can check in every time you you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Yeah, the Roach Motel is you can check in, but you can't check out. Different animals.
Ugh, roaches.
Yeah, I don't like roaches. They suck. And where I live, my gosh, they're like almost Australian size. It's ridiculous. They're monsters. And sometimes my cats don't do their job. It depends if they're in the mood. Sometimes they just kill them. Sometimes
I get the impression that Benedict tends to be a disappointment.
Yes. Well, his problem is he really is one that will choose. Yeah. If I so choose, I shall. Maple Leaf, she's never been useful. But she's a good cuddler, so that's what, keeps her good. Jacob Ironside says, Middle Earth Postal Service on the wings of eagles. On the wings of love. Timon says, Eagle Airlines. Fly with us, but only as a last resort.
That's cute. I like that.
I think the hobbits have a postal service though, because they have letterboxes, don't they? Mailboxes. I think they do.
Yeah, they just don't have airmail.
Yeah.
Shane says, mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagne on ice. We are all just prisoners here of our own device. Of our own. Yeah. And suddenly a voice calling from far away. I don't know. I don't know if they shut you down or just demonetize you if you sing. But since I'm not monetized, I don't know. It really depends on the artist. Snorta Poopa says, Florida palmetto bugs look like B-50 tours on low-level palm run.
Whoa.
Yeah, Shire Mail. Okay. Well, thank you, Eagles, for providing so much content for us in the past 10 minutes. And y'all can start to gather your thoughts because, of course, this will end our book discussion for today. So anything that either of you...
Side note, we now know where Bilbo's chainmail ended up after The Lord of the Rings. It ended up with a baby Yoda. He has that exact chainmail now.
You're right. They totally ripped it off. It was absurd.
See, I heard about that, but I'm very happy that I didn't get to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, they ripped off the chainmail in a scene that was completely ripped off from Shogun Assassin. It's like a rip-off within a rip-off.
Yeah. Yep. Tommy says, be well, y'all. Yes, thank you. Well, Gil, since I've given you a few moments to gather your thoughts. Anything you want to say about any of the 3 chapters we said today or what we have up to this point? Because I told you we have reached the point where our heroes have had their last big cool moments, and we're going to be moving the party back to Frodo and Sam. Steve, I don't know if you wanted to go first.
Well, I always felt the Aragorn and Pippin and Merry story in Return of the King was a bit rushed. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but it was like boom, there, boom, there. You know, it was like boom, boom, fight, fight. You know, I think when we get to the Frodo and Sam chapters, we might find that those chapters are better than we remembered
Interesting.
because they do have a lot in them that's not necessarily stuff you remember because they're not that eventful except for the grand finale and the thing with the spider, but there's stuff
Yeah,
in
but
it.
yeah. Well, no, we already had the stuff with the spider though, because that was at the end of the Two Towers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, there's good things in those chapters that are easily overlooked, I thought.
Yeah. Well, and we're gonna get into it next week as we go on, and I have a lot of letters too about Gollum. It's I feel like these last parts. Well, it's as much Gollum's story as Frodo's because they're like two sides of the same coin almost at this point, and the compassion even that they have for Gollum that they at least rather Frodo has even after everything that happens, even after it all ends the way it does, the fact that Gollum is to be pitied and judgment not really be quick to be put upon him. You know, like where Gandalf was like, do not be too quick to mete out death. You know, many people deserve death, many people deserve life. Can you give it to them? So I think that there's some more to be said about Gollum, a lot to be said about Frodo and his so-called failure, as well as Sam's heroism.
Those are some really great points.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for bringing that up, Stieg, because even until you mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, damn, I forgot. Yeah, that we're going to go deep.
Yeah, because it's in between the Pelennor Fields battle and the finale, so it's easy to, I guess, read those chapters a bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it kind of comes off like when you're reading all the action that happens with Gondor and Mordor, you know, or Gondor versus Mordor, and all the interesting things like, you know, Eowyn killing the Witch King and Aragorn, you know, really showing his kingly side. And then it's like, oh man, I gotta go back to the depressing part. It's kind of hard to read those chapters, but you're right. I think they're not as appreciated as they could be because of that.
Yeah, this book, Return of the King, is my least favorite in this trilogy. Always has been. My favorite part of the Lord of the Rings is when Sam and Pippin and Frodo starts their journey from Hobbiton, and then up until they get to Bree. That's my favorite Lord of the Rings bit.
Huh.
When they're traveling, you know, walking around in the Shire, and you're getting really vivid descriptions of the place, and I'm like, yeah, I could read a whole book about this.
Yeah. Well, and the world building and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, when you're reading it, you're gradually being fed lore, and you're basically learning as the hobbits are learning about Middle Earth because they don't know much either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so as their knowledge branches out, so does yours, and then you have the ring rates keeping the tension going.
That's a good point, and that's a good way to look at it. Return of the King is also my least favorite, just because you know, all good things must come to an end, and you don't want to see it end. It's like, oh, but this is such a good story. So, for me, it's the Two Towers. I really love the friendship that that grows and festers between Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn. But Gimli and Legolas, especially, like two people that try to hate each other, want to hate each other, have this like, this pre-ingrained bias, and they become like best friends. I mean, for crying out loud, what Legolas does for Gimli after Gimli passes is just amazing because, dwarves aren't supposed to be allowed into Valinor. And and Legolas tries to do that for Gimli, and I just think that that's very kind. And he always, they just always have such a great bond. So I don't know. Two Towers is definitely my book, but yeah, I think it's really great to see everything that happened with Gondor. But I do agree with Stieg that it happens really fast because you build up to this big battle, and then boom, it's done. It's like that went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, I expected it to be a little bit more drawn out when I was reading it. I think they draw it out a little bit more in the movie, but in the book, it just feels like it just passes you by. So when you get to the Frodo and Sam parts, it's like, oh, this isn't the exciting bit. This is the really uncomfortable and, suspenseful part. And it's like, that Gollum's going to come back, and you just want to, sometimes hit him and, but of course he plays his part. But, getting through it is tough because it's not the fun and exciting part of the book, but you also, fail to appreciate it sometimes because it's not quite as enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has struck me on this reread how much of what Aragorn does happens off screen, if you will.
Yeah.
And they say afterwards, oh yeah, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did that. I'm wondering if some of this might have been an editorial situation, and I'm going to double check in my letters on this, because maybe they were just running out of space and time, and they're like, dude, you gotta, what's going on? This book's going to be 10,000 pages. That could have been a possibility. I don't know. I am speculating. I will need to double check that.
Do you want to know why it took so long to finish the Silmarillion?
Why, Steve?
It's because Tolkien kept writing a damn letter or two about each page in the upcoming book.
Oh, come on.
It's true, though.
He's not wrong. If he would have just written the book instead of writing about writing the book. Yeah. I'm with you. I think I would have a difficulty saying it was my favorite book, but I have said that it has some of my favorite chapters. Like, definitely the Battle of Planterfield is just my favorite chapter. Just everything about it is just so thrilling and majestic in the way it all comes together. But I see what you're saying. And to give a little bit of a preview, I'm seeing some of the comments in the chat. I think it was a little while back about Gollum. And of course, we're going to talk about this. But it's not a spoiler to say that after all was said and done, Frodo said to Sam, we must forgive him. For several reasons, he'll say that. But that is what happens and why. And I think that that's what makes this high fantasy, and not just because it's just such a good way of telling something.
I think it's because Frodo is succumbing to the ring himself, and he wants to forgive himself because he is failing everyone and every friend he had.
Yeah.
Well, no, but at that point, yes, but that too. Yes, as he's making the journey. And again, we'll go there, though he actually explicitly says the words, we must forgive him, right before, after it's all done. And you're right, because
Frodo fell to the same shit.
Yeah.
Because Frodo fails in the book, puts on the ring.
Yeah. And holy crap, Stieg, if you want to complain about a letter or said letters that Tolkien did about the Silmarillion, his letters about why Frodo did what he did and what happened, that goes on for 200 years. But I'm glad he does, because it explains it. And you're exactly right. But, it's a whole takes one to know one. If you're using the analogy of the addict, an addict, for good or for ill, will understand a little too much perhaps of what's going on, or there's the expression from the Bible, there I would go, but for the grace of God, there go I. So it's this same idea that all of us could be golems, and that's, as Steve said, why Frodo is understanding it. Again, I just love the way that they almost get into this Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yeah.
I think the movie did a disservice by doing the Jekyll and Hyde thing with Schmeagol versus Gollum. I think the more appropriate one would be Frodo and Gollum, if you're using that analogy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. That's not nice, though, is it? I just read something that's that I can't share with everyone, but yeah. I think Tolkien regretted finishing The Lord of the Rings, says Snortopupus Cooper, because once it's published, it's frozen in form, and he always wanted to keep refining his material. He kept revising the Silmarillion ad infinitum. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so loud. I hope I didn't make anyone go deaf there for a second. And I nearly half fell off my chair too. Humanity hasn't built a giant stone pyramid in a while. That's true. I think I need to go back to some of these comments. Gosh, well, we're really going to get into that. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get to the end of the quest for next week's. I honestly don't know. There's 4 chapters, but there's not a lot. I mean, wait, did I mistaken? It's 3 chapters. We had the Black Gate. We had the Tower of Cirith Ungol. We have the Land of Shadow and Mount Doom. Okay, we have 3 chapters. We might be able to do it. It just depends, because I think that there's a lot to be said about Gollum. There's a lot to be said about Sam and Sam's great moment, and of course Frodo.
Well, yeah, and these are some pretty big chapters in some of this.
Yeah, not necessarily in length, but in content.
Yeah, lots of detail. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Vic says the history he wrote for Arnor and its fall is my second favorite part in the appendices in Silmarillion. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get to the Silmarillion when we get to it. I think there's several reasons why it never quite saw form the way we might have otherwise. And that's something that we'll talk about when we get there. Okay, well, I'm going to start winding down this party. Because my brain is starting to explode. I'm starting to get ponderous. These things are making me really think, and that's going to be for next week's one. As I've said, next week I will be doing a double Lord of the Rings stream, but I promise I will bring my brain cells with me. For the second round. We're going to start at 8 in the morning. We're going to be Catholic explaining the Lord of the Rings, and then our usual book discussion at 11 Central. Also this week, I am not having a double pick on Monday. No double pick, but we will be doing the triple review with Maury and Eddie, and perhaps others. It depends on the sleep schedules of Steek or the content.
Which movies are there?
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you, did I?
No.
Okay, then I will not use Steve's name in vain again. I will until I hear from him. But maybe, perhaps. Yeah, we're watching. Maury got to choose this time around, because I got sometimes like I'll choose and she will. Which she wants to do movies that have different stars from Cobra Kai, because she had Cobra Kai in her head. One is called Better Off Dead, Back to School, and My Cousin Vinny.
I've only seen My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay.
I've
Well,
seen Back
okay.
to School. Doesn't that have Rodney Dangerfield, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, no, it's Rodney Dangerfield. Absolutely, yes.
But
And
I haven't seen
have
the
not-
first.
Yeah, I haven't seen Better Off Dead either. That she chose that because the actor who plays Chosen is in it. My cousin Vinny has Ralph Macchio in it,
Oh,
and
that's right. I was thinking, you think of Joe Pesci when you think of that movie more than anything, So funny.
You know
yeah.
what? I would have done a Piranha 3D.
Oh my
Because
God.
Elizabeth Shue is in it.
Did you guys know, like a little bit of trivia for you guys for My Cousin Vinny? Joe Pesci actually made an album, a parody album of himself as his character Vinny. Yeah, singing some pretty interesting songs. So, just a little trivia. But yeah, he actually sang an album as Vinny.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I found it one time and I had to buy it, but it was so scratched up that it just played itself to the death. But I thought it was the most hilarious thing I had found in that time. I actually got it at a half price books. So interesting.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. And my not my cousin Vinny, Back to School, that has William Zach Penn, obviously, as
Yeah.
so that's going to be the movies. Yeah. So that is the first and last time I will take Steve's name in vain. At least it'll definitely be Maury and Eddie because they have to be there because they chose it. Marissa Tomei won an Oscar. Yes, she did. That was a bit of a surprise. I remember when that happened. Thank you, Keck. Thank you, good stream, ladies and Steeg. Speaking of which, we didn't come up with a Matt Wilkins sighting. He must be busy because usually he would say like ladies or sexy people except for Steeg or something.
Probably rehab.
Oh no. Okay. Well, thank you everyone who's been here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm yapping and I did not give Princess Rennie a chance. Princess Rennie, where can we find you?
Well, just kind of depending. On Saturday mornings when Teresa is doing these Lord of the Rings streams, I will be here when I can, provided that she doesn't get bored of me. And then typically on Mr. Brown Alliance around 4 or 5 Central. I'm not sure if we're doing a stream today or not because a couple of people have fallen a little bit under the weather. So, it happens. It's the season for it. So, But yeah, that's typically where you guys can find me from time to time.
All right. Well, there we go. So stay tuned about that. Yeah, I think the movie is. Wait, does he announce the movie ahead of time? I forget.
He planned on doing The Doors. I'm not sure if that's still going to be a thing or not.
Fun fact about that one: the surviving members of the band, who had cameos in the movie, actually, they helped with the movie, and they said that they could not tell the difference between Val Kilmer singing and Jim Morrison.
I read something like that. I didn't know if it was a joke or if it was for real, but that's pretty cool.
It's pretty damn spot on.
Oh, I do want to tell you guys, if you like The Godfather, I think I've convinced Mr. Brown to do Godfather at the end of this month. So one of my favorite movies of all time. I know it's old as hell, but it's just a perfect movie, in my opinion.
Nice. Oh yeah. I'll just leave it at that. You're right. I can't say anything else about The Godfather except it is one of those very rare movies. So if you haven't seen The Godfather, regardless, so go ahead and check out what Rennie's going to be doing there and watch some good movies. That's the other thing. Forget the crap that's coming out that's new. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not let your hearts be troubled. There is great entertainment out there for us to enjoy. Steeg, where can we find you?
If I'm awake on the... No, wait, you're not doing the pick 2, are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, well, there's a Cringe Factory, Morris channel, and I'm not doing that much YouTube this week, actually. It's well, except for this on Saturday, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be because I'm not doing anything with Gravy this week. Because we did the 80s stream.
Yeah.
Episode 2 of the, what's it called? the Blockbuster Archives. We've done 2 of those now.
Mm-hmm.
And people seem to like them.
Like, what
So
movies have you guys done so far?
Well, in the first one, we did Alligator and Raging Bull. And then a few days ago, we did... actually, it was yesterday, wasn't it? We did Das Boot.
Oh.
And Dragon Slayer. So the next episode will be 1982. And Gravy told me to watch An Officer and a Gentleman. And I told her to watch Conan the Barbarian, who is absolutely not an officer or a gentleman. Polar opposites, in fact. So that's
I love it.
You can compare and contrast.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be sweet. Well, if you're not already subscribed to Lady Gravemaster, if you don't follow her on Twitter, go ahead and do so. And
side note, I think on Friday, Mara and I will be doing another top 10. I think it's on Friday. Top 10 guilty pleasure movies that we have. So we're going to admit to some stupid movies we like.
This is where we find out that Stieg has been watching Jane Austen movies all along.
No.
Nice.
No. Okay. Well, thank you, Stieg. And thank you to the chat. Chat, you're amazing as always, keeping us honest and coming in with great insights and knowledge that you bring to the Lord of the Rings. We have Keck 44. Thank you for being here. Kelvington, Shane Nolan, Tommy helped us out for a while. I know he had to go. Snortopupus, yes, Snortopupus always brings the bear with him, and both paws. Wait, he has more than. Wait, do they have 2 paws or? I don't know. I'm not a biologist, but whatever the hell that a polar bear has, Snortopupus always brings it. We have
Paws.
Jacob Ironside. Sorry,
Bear paws.
they have bear paws, but how many?
4, right?
4? You have 1 for each foot, not just Vic, thank you for being here. Vic Rattle in, I think, Comics X or something. Well, anyways, anyone that came in, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being here. Snortopupus tells us no gerbils were harmed in the making of it. Okay, and he's helping us out here. 4 paws. He's a quadruped. All right, you heard it here first. Yeah, 4. Everyone's helping me out. I'm sorry. Like I said, my brain cells are a little shot. I was actually using my brain a lot over the last few days.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Stieg.
What color is the fur of a polar bear?
It's beige?
No, it's actually black. It's only white on the outside.
What?
Yeah. Look it up. They have black fur. It's just the outer layer is white.
What?
Okay, everybody go. Okay,
that.
Snortopupus, you're the resident polar bear. Is that true?
Yes, tell us about your heritage. We want to know.
What color is the fur of a polar bear? Okay. A layer of dense underfur and an outer layer of guard hairs, which appear to be white but are actual transparent. Doesn't say.
A
bear's skin is black. A bear's skin is black.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought they had like black paws.
No, you can see it around the eyes too sometimes.
Okay,
black.
All right. Well, that's just the first thing I said. But allegedly, it's transparent too. Well, you heard it here first. There's questions like these that will come up on Miss Martin Muses. The more you know, the more you know. But we are going to go ahead and end. The first stream that will be coming up next for me will be on Tuesday. So thank you, everyone here. Thank you, everyone here. Oh, Snortopupus is confirming. The fur is translucent. The skin is black. Hollow hair, black skin. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain when the eagles are coming, duck.
And make